It's Fanfiction Friday. Let's see what trades you cooked up this week. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Friday, November 7th, 2025. This is Tarik Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's Fanfiction Friday, the show where you submit your Mariners trade ideas and we grade them on the 20/80 scale based on creativity, uniqueness, and, of course, if they simply make sense for both clubs. Before we get into your trades, though, shout out to our title sponsor today, FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Tyler's going to kick us off here on Fanfiction Friday with a deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. Lars Nootbaar and JoJo Romero to the Mariners for Jorge Bautista and Ty Pete.
My thing is I'm not sure how to evaluate this trade because the two prospects the Mariners are giving up are high upside, but probably both at least a half a decade away. I mean, Pete maybe 3 years away. Bautista probably 4 or 5. And they're interesting prospects. They have loud tools, but they might be nothing. And so I don't know what the Cardinals are going to think of these guys because they are rebuilding. We know that. They've pretty much come out and said that we need to reset things. But this could be a drastic overpay. This could be, you could get laughed off the phone by this. I don't think you will because Romero's a rental. Nootbaar might be 2. Nootbaar got 2 years left?
He's got 2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't remember. But anyway, so, yeah, this is an interesting trade because I'm not quite sure how to evaluate it because I don't think Lars Nootbaar is like a great idea. Like if he's like the last piece you put on the puzzle at the end of the offseason, fine, whatever. But I don't know that he's a drastic upgrade over what you have right now in the outfield, especially coming off the season that he's coming off of. And I just feel like maybe I could use Bautista and Pete somewhere else. But Romero's interesting, and Nootbaar is, still a major league quality player. Just he's had a bad year this year. Year before wasn't all that good, and so I do wonder, what's the upside of acquiring him?
I guess really what I'm curious about is like what's happened to his arm, because he used to have one of the best arms in the league. And while the arm strength is still there, I'm looking at his Savant page right now. The last couple of years, he's been bottom of the barrel in arm value. 2022, he was 99th percentile in arm value. This past season, he was 4th percentile. What happened?
Yeah. I mean, again, don't follow the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that would have to be an injury of some kind. So maybe the injury also impacted him at the plate because, a 20% drop in offensive production in 1 year at 28 years old is noteworthy.
Yeah.
So it feels like there must have been an injury there that either went underreported or we're just missing. But that is a concern. Has to be.
This is a bounce back that I'd be willing to pay this price for. I'm down with it. Plus, Romero's like a solid left-handed reliever. I'm actually totally fine with this trade. I mean, Nootbaar has some tools that I think the Mariners would really like. Obviously, he's a guy that doesn't strike out a ton. He has been able to get on base quite a bit in the past. Obviously, this year notwithstanding, but this year it was a down year in pretty much every category for him, except for really the walks. I mean, he walked at his second to lowest career rate, but he still walked 11% of the time while striking out just 20.4% of the time. His bat speed actually went up this year as well. I don't know. I just kind of wonder if maybe there's a bounce back here. So yeah, I'd be willing to pay this price to take a shot on that. Because I mean, like Bautista and Pete are like the lottery tickets of all lottery tickets.
Yeah, they are. What are you giving this for grade wise?
I think I'm giving this a 55.
I'll give it a 45. I wouldn't be like upset if the Mariners made this trade. It's just, I think if I'm going to, throw out some lottery tickets, I would like to have something a little bit more safe than Lars Nootbaar coming off of his worst year, with a 60 WRC plus against lefties this year. who apparently might have an injury. Like we don't know what's going on there. It's weird because the Mariners had their own kind of thing like that with Cole Young. where it's just like, what happened to the arm strength? It's gone. So yeah, this is interesting. I like I said, I wouldn't be upset if they made this trade as long as Nootbaar is like the third or fourth piece they bring in to the offense. And if they obviously I'm counting like if they bring back Naylor and Polo, then Nootbaar can be the third or fourth piece. He doesn't have to be the new piece, but and then Romero is probably an underrated part of this. He's pretty darn good.
Nootbaar had a rib injury that he was playing through this year.
Okay, so that doesn't seem too serious then.
Yeah, he also had a heel thing that he had to get surgery for at the end of the year.
Okay. Nothing elbow, shoulder, nothing like that. So,
and apparently he's dealt with discomfort in both of his feet for over the past 2.5 years.
Well, now this is starting to pile on a little bit. Yeah. So this feels more like a chronic thing, not just a bad year thing. It feels like he's trending in the wrong direction, but I'd still give it a 45-50. Like, I think it's a fine shot to take. I think JoJo Romero is actually the real prize of this trade. And Nootbaar is just kind of the lottery ticket that you're hoping bounces back. And I'll go 50, solid 50.
There you go.
I've talked myself into. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I keep on. I was focused on Nootbaar, and it's like, but Romero's really good. So
yeah. Had some walk issues this year, but overall,
second lefty.
Yeah, he also kept the ball in the park, which was a little bit of an issue for him in 2024. But this year lowered his home run to fly ball rate from 15.4% to 4% this year.
Yeah.
So
and again, a couple lottery tickets who may or may not ever sniff the big leagues. It's a pretty good price. Yeah. 50. Yeah.
All right, Mariners fan 2412 has a deal here with the Twins. Brooks Lee and Joe Ryan from Minnesota heading to Seattle for Felton Celestin, Ryan Sloan, Johnny Farmelo, and Ty Pete. I think you could argue that Celestin, Sloan, and Farmelo would just be the price alone to get Joe Ryan. So is Ty Pete enough to get Brooks Lee?
No, I don't think Brooks Lee belongs in this trade.
Yeah.
Because I look at Brooks Lee and it's like, okay, look, I already have Cole Young. I have Emerson. Lee, I guess, could play third base for me, but like, whatever. I don't think that Lee needs to be in this deal. Joe Ryan is interesting, though, because we've talked about this. If the Mariners are actually interested in Tarik Skubal and their plan is to be aggressive on Tarik Skubal. Now, we don't know if that's their plan or not, but obviously, Adam Jude pointed it out and Buster Only pointed it out unprompted. So there's definitely smoke to the Skubal thing. But if you're interested in Skubal, then in theory, you should be interested in other pitchers because you're kind of saying like, hey, pitching is a need for us. So maybe it's that, Skubal is so good, they're willing to make an exception. That's definitely possible. But it feels to me like the Mariners are looking at this going like, hey, you know what? We could use like a frontline starting pitcher to go with this, big collection of arms. So if they trade Luis, I do think maybe they do look at the Joe Ryan types and the Freddy Peralta types and guys like that. So this is really interesting. But yeah, Brooks Lee, I don't think you're getting him in this deal. And I don't know if he makes a ton of sense for the Mariners just because you have Emerson, you have Young. So Lee, I guess, could play third, but I believe I've heard the Mariners like Brooks Lee from somebody before, but I can't remember off the top. So like if you remove Brooks Lee from this, does this get you Joe Ryan? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly gets you in the conversation at the very least. We're talking about 3 top 100 prospects and a lottery ticket like Ty Pete.
Yeah.
Like you might argue that the Mariners are overpaying for Joe Ryan at this price, although I think this is about what it would cost. So this is a really interesting trade. What are you thinking?
Because of the Lee element, it's going to lose points. I do think this would be a very competitive offer for Joe Ryan alone, though. Probably one that I think we can get it done, but I'm not the Twins, so who knows? So I don't know. I'll go like 45.
Do you remember how many years of club control Ryan has? Is it 2 or 3?
It's 2 more, I believe. We talked about him yesterday, right? Yeah, it was yesterday that we talked about the Central. Yeah, he's got 2 more.
Yeah, so 2 more years. Let's see how much he's going to make this year. MLB trade rumors wasn't being stupid.
Here, I got it for you. 5.8.
Okay. So he's going to make about $6 million this year, which means next year he's probably only going to make 10 to 12 in the final year of arbitration. Honestly, this offer is not too far off of the Garrett Crochet offer for the same amount of club control. So
Yeah.
I think you could argue without Brooks Lee, this is an overpay for Joe Ryan. So I think there's a lot of good pieces here. I think this is a really good starting point. You can kind of like, take this guy out, add this guy, maybe you get Trevor Larnach back in this deal, or maybe you get, Royce Lewis back in this deal. I think Brooks Lee is probably a guy the Twins want to give a lot of playing time to this year and just finally see what they have there.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would move him in the deal like this, but that's a lot of high upside talent to get for 2 years of a starting pitcher. So yeah, I think I'll probably give it, as it sits right now with Brooks Lee included, I think it's probably like a 40, 45. If you took out Brooks Lee, then this is probably a 50, and it's only not higher because it might be an overpay by the Mariners. But I think we need to spend more time talking about Joe Ryan and the Freddy Peraltas and other starting pitchers if the Mariners are in fact going to be in on Skubal, because that tells me something.
Yeah,
about
Mackenzie
how the Mariners
Gore
feel about their rotation. Yeah. Yep.
All right, we got a few more of your trades to go over here in just a moment, but first a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks and Doer. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. And if you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Man, I am super stoked about the new jeans I have arriving soon from Doer. I've heard the most amazing things about these jeans. I mean, I can't wait to wear them. Let me tell you why. Doer jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim. They're antibacterial, meaning your jeans stay fresh longer so you can wear more and wash less. And it's made with Coolmax, which keeps you cool and comfortable as temperatures change. Doer also combines the classic jeans wear style with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear. So it really is the best of both worlds. And Doer are absolute pioneers of blending technical innovation with everyday clothing. They invented the original performance denim. So simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without having to sacrifice style. Get a pair for yourself or as an amazing holiday gift. Go now to shopdoer.com/lockedonseattle. You'll get 15% off your first order. That's shopdoer.com/lockedonseattle for 15% off. Shopdoer.com/lockedonseattle. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. As always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, we have a Patreon. It's called Control the Zone, and on there we talk Mariners, Seahawks, all that good stuff. For more information, go to patreon.com/control the zone. Link in the description. It's Fanfiction Friday. Let's get back into your trades. Will has a deal with the Tigers, George Kirby and Felton Celestin for Tarik Skubal.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah.
Yep.
Love Skubal, but 3 years of Kirby and a high upside prospect like Felton Celestin. Too much. Like, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Like, would we trade, or Wednesday, I forget when it was, would we trade 2 years of Logan Gilbert for 1 year of Tarik Skubal? I think it's an interesting conversation, but I wouldn't do it. So I wouldn't do 3 years of Kirby plus a prospect, a really good prospect for Skubal.
Would Skubal help? Yes. Would he be better than Kirby? Yes.
Yes.
Right. Like undeniably. Yes. The problem is that this is an allocation of resources problem. Is your rotation, or really the question is, do you think your rotation is better than it showed this year? My answer is yes. And if that is the case, how much more value are you going to get from adding Skubal versus Kirby? You're going to get more, no question about it. But
Yeah.
is that worth then losing Skubal and then having to replace George Kirby? And I know people are going to say, well, you have Kate Anderson. Well, you have St. You have no idea if those guys are going to be good. And if they are good, you have no idea when they're going to be good. And pitching is expensive on this market. This is kind of the move where it's like, we went all in. Okay, cool. If you lose, if you don't win the World Series, this trade's really not worth it. Like, I don't want to trade any core players for 1 year of anybody, even Tarik Skubal. And Kirby is, for now, still a core player. Like, I'm not trading Gilbert. I'm not trading Julio, Cal, Kirby. Might be it. Or Brian Wu. I'd be more interested, honestly, in trading 4 years of Bryce Miller than 3 years of George Kirby, and I probably wouldn't do that. So
Yeah.
I understand like hey, you got to outbid teams, but this is why I don't think the Skubal thing's all that realistic, because the Mets have young MLB ready arms that they can offer. The Red Sox have young MLB ready arms that they can offer. The Mariners do not. So that's why you have to give up a Kirby. Or at least that's probably the rationale here. You have to give up Kirby. I'm not giving up a top prospect on top. I wouldn't do Kirby for Skubal straight up. I'm certainly not adding an upside prospect.
Right. Which is what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, like, I'm not interested. If this is the price, if this is what the Tigers tell me the price is, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go talk about, Freddy Peralta. I'm going to go talk about Joe Ryan, because I think I can get those guys for prospects.
Yeah.
So I'm out on this. If the Tigers want to talk about a prospect heavy package, I am more than willing to engage on that front. I'm not trading from my current rotation unless it's, Luis Castillo. I'm not trading from my current rotation to get Skubal. It's not worth it.
Which I do wonder if you could do a Castillo and prospect package for Skubal if the Tigers are wanting to stay competitive.
Yeah.
Because the money isn't that different. Skubal, I think, is projected to make 18.
Yeah.
Where MLBTR has them at. So, and Castillo's at 24 now. Do the Tigers want to commit to 24 for each of the next 2 years? Plus, there's obviously the vesting option. I don't know.
You can pretty easily work around. But yeah, maybe. I don't know. Because is their hang up actually paying anybody? Or is it that they don't want to give Skubal 8 years and be on the hook for, all those his age 32 through 36 season at $35-40 million a year? What is it? Because the Tigers used to spend a ton of money back in the early 2000s. Like, pretty recently, they actually spent a lot of money. Lately, they've been pretty darn cheap. And it's a lot of 1 year deals when they do go sign guys. So is that just an outlier, or is it just because of their build? That's where they ended up in the cycle. Or is there this new idea that let's not commit long-term big money to free agents like we did with Miguel Cabrera, which worked out pretty well for them. I don't know what they're complaining about, but and if it is just about more the long-term commitment, then Castillo might be of interest to them. So maybe there's something there where it's Castillo and it's Fellman and it's, Farmelo or whatever, maybe, but I'm not giving up Kirby, Wu, Miller, or Gilbert for 1 year of Skubal.
Yeah. So this Kirby Selson for Skubal deal gets 30 from me. It's a non-starter.
Yes. I don't think that the Tigers wouldn't ask for this though. I don't think it's one of those things where it's a low grade for me. It's like a 30, 35 for me too, but it's not because I think this is, I'm trying, how do I word this?
You think the Tigers would actually ask for something like this? So it's a realistic
so on that end, it's
counter
realistic.
offer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Mariners should have no interest in making a trade like this. And I certainly myself don't have any interest in making a trade like this. So that's going to lower the grade. But I do think from the Tigers perspective, I could see them asking for this, sure.
All right, next trade here from Ham Swaggerty 69. Bryce Terang and Freddy Peralta from the Brewers for George Kirby, Cole Young, and Carlos Vargas, and says, in theory, you swap club control with Young and Terang. Peralta is better than Kirby, but Kirby has more club control than Peralta.
Is Freddy Peralta better than George Kirby? I think they're in the same tier. Like, I think they're basically the same guy in terms of value. What's not remotely similar is 3 years of George Kirby versus 1 year of Freddy Peralta. And I'm not a huge Bryce Terang fan. I know he's a good player. I know he's a good player. To me, it really, again, it's 1 year of Cole Young 6 years of Cole Young for 1 year of Freddy Peralta, right? And then it's Kirby for Terang. Like, that's kind of how you have to look at this trade. I'm not giving up George Kirby for Terang. I just don't think there's enough there in the bat for me to make that trade. And I'm not giving up 6 years of Cole Young for Freddy Peralta, I think. Again, this is one of those cases where it's like, I would like to deal prospects. Now, you could probably argue like, okay, but if you're willing to trade Michael Arroyo, why aren't you willing to trade Cole Young? Fair. That's fair. But I don't think that this is a deal that I'm all that interested in. I think it dies for me, honestly, at Kirby for Terang.
I think it makes you a better team in 2026. I just think that it's irresponsible long term, though.
It's just tied. Do you think, based on his career, do you think Terang is going to hit 288 this year in 2026?
Oh, I think he's probably like a 110, 115 WRC plus bat.
I think that might be pushing it.
Like on his high end. Like,
yeah, high end. Yeah, sure.
I feel like 124 is probably an outlier. Like he probably winds up being somewhere between a 105 to 115 most years.
I think if I had to bet, I would say he's closer to 100 than he is to 120. And that's fine because, again, the defense, he also stole 50 bases in 2024.
Yeah.
Dropped down to 24 this last year. I just don't know what to feel about Bryce Terang. I feel like there's a major regression coming, and he's still going to be good, but there's a big regression coming. So I don't know I don't want to pay 2025 prices for Bryce Terang right now. If he does this again next year, all in. Yep. Yeah. Let's do this. Makes a ton of sense. But with just 1 year of being like a good hitter of sample size, it's a little risky for me. It's a little rich.
Yeah. I'll go 50. It's creative. I'm fine with it short term for the Mariners. I just don't really like it long term for them. So that's why the score isn't higher. And I don't think it's something the Mariners would do.
No. Definitely creative, though.
All right. We will wrap things up here on Fanfiction Friday in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. It's Fanfiction Friday. Let's get back into your trades. Jay Qua from YouTube has a deal here with the Tampa Bay Rays. Says, hey, Ty and Colby, it's Jay Qua. What's up, Jay Qua? Mariners acquired Brandon Lau and Yandy Diaz from the Rays for Ty Pete, Michael Arroyo, and Tyler Guff. So I don't think this is enough for both Diaz and Lau. Now, it's 1 year for each of those guys, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Each guy making $11 million.
Yeah, so that also has to be a factor here, especially from the Rays side of things, because obviously, I mean, they just declined Pete Fairbanks' $11 million option. So, the Rays, as we all know, they don't like spending that much money. So if you can help them get $22 million off of their books, that may lower the trade cost at least a little bit here. But Lau and Diaz, both very good players when they're healthy. That qualifier more applies to Lau than Yandy, of course. But yeah, I mean, Arroyo, really good prospect. Pete, who knows how teams feel about him, and Guff, I'm pretty sure is hurt right now. So
the Rays liked Pete, but that was a couple of years ago, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So
And and again, I don't know if Guff had Tommy John surgery this year. So
Guff is like a fourth piece.
yeah.
It feels like you're missing. You need somebody better than Pete. Basically, you need to push Pete to be the 3 and Guff to be the 4. Now we know that the Rays really like Harry Ford, and they desperately need catcher help. Obviously, then you would need to go get a backup catcher, but you did draft Luke Stevenson, so it's not like you're going to be without a long-term catcher. Obviously you have Cal, but you still want that other guy who, maybe one day can push Cal to first base or DH more consistently. So Stevenson should move relatively fast, but he is a catcher, so it might take a little bit longer, even though he's a college guy. So you might throw Ford in here and it might make sense. What I'm interested to see about the Rays, and this is kind of why I think something like this is more realistic, like they didn't pick up Fairbanks' option, and they could have traded him. There's no doubt they could have traded him, and they chose not to, which is interesting to me. It tells me that maybe the Rays are getting ready to go as young and as cheap as possible. And when you look at the American League East, 3 playoff teams this year, including the World Series runners up. You have Blue Jays, you have Red Sox, and you have the Yankees. They're probably not catching any of those teams.
Yeah.
Baltimore depends on what they do this offseason. And is Baltimore going to bounce back off after what was a down year for them without question? Like Tampa might be looking at this being like, look, we're not going to compete in 2026. And let's just dump Fairbanks. We're not worried about what we can get in return for him, although that's so weird to me still.
Yeah.
But whatever. So if they do, then they can dump Lau. They could dump Yandy. They can get young talent back. They can clear the $22 million of payroll off the books. Maybe they use that to try and extend like a Jonathan Aranda type. Did he sign an extension? I don't think so. But anyways, the Rays have a lot of young infielders they want to play. Mm-hmm. They also have Aranda for first base. They have Trey Morgan, who they like for first base, which means Aranda can play DH as well. So it does feel like they should trade these guys. And the Mariners, it just so happens, both of those guys fit current Mariner needs. Mariners need a second baseman. They need a DH. Hey, look at one's a lefty, one's a righty. Lau a little more power. Diaz a little bit more, like doubles and stuff like that, a little more contact. Makes a lot of sense. Like it really does. And I do think that the Rays are probably going to be trading both of these guys this winter. And just the Fairbanks thing kind of makes me believe that they might be like real sellers. That anybody making money might be on the move this winter. Mm-hmm. But I think this trade in particular, to me, it needs like a Harry Ford. It needs like a Felton Celestin. I think something like Arroyo and Celestin, because they probably want like one guy to be really high upside, but a couple years away. That's just kind of how the Rays build. They like to have these waves like the Mariners do. Mm-hmm. So I think if you put Felton in this deal, it's probably a 55, 60.
Yeah.
I think as it sits right now, it's probably a 40, 45 because it's just a little bit too light. I think.
Yeah. I think you're one piece short here. One substantial piece short. So I'll go 45 on this one. Yeah,
it's close, but it just a little bit more. I think Celestin is the guy here too. Maybe Harry Ford. But then at that point, I think it's like, well, take out Arroyo and put Ford and Celestin. Like to me, the Rays feel like a Celestin destination.
Sure.
So maybe I'm wrong, but it's solid. It's a good starting point. You're just one piece off, I think.
All right, last trade here from Switch. Y'all are going to get a lot of Skubal mocks. Yep, we are.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So let's do something unique with another ace. Seattle acquires Hunter Greene and Connor Phillips from the Reds for Bryce Miller, Matt Brash, Ryan Sloan, Cole Young, and Johnny Varmello. Oh my God. Well, I guess the first thing that I would say here is that the Reds like have to take this.
Yes. I'm a big Hunter Greene fan. He's only 26 years old. He will be for most of next year. Doesn't turn 27. He actually is cost control. You know how much he's going to make.
Yeah.
He's going to make $8 million next year. That's it. And then he's going to make $15 million in 2027 and $16 million in 2028. So you get him for 3 years at well below market value. You could argue that he hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. I mean, incredible swing and miss stuff.
Which I think has to go into the trade return here that Switch has come up with.
Right. But hasn't been durable, really.
Yeah.
In his career, he's missed time every single year.
Yeah.
This last year, he was fine. But, like, you're really banking on upside on Greene, because while he's been good, he hasn't been that ace. And this is an insane amount.
Yeah.
This is the type of offer you would make for an established ace.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's there, but the money, the club control associated with him.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique. I'll give you that. It feels like a massive overpay, because not only are you giving up Sloan, Cole Young, and Johnny Farmello, 3 top 100 prospects. You're kind of honestly selling low on those 3 guys as well in this trade, but you're also giving up Bryce and Matt Brash. Like, isn't on Greene's level. So that's obviously an upside. Is the difference Matt Brash? And I know you're going to be like, well, Phillips is in this deal. I don't care. Okay. You're giving up Matt Brash and Bryce Miller and Cole Young, who are all going to help you this year, for one pitcher who's, I think, what's his career innings pitch? I just had it, 150.
150. Yeah.
Right. So that is a big risk to take.
But it's 4 years of that guy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a club option, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So you have 4 years of club control on a guy that, when healthy, is one of the 5 to 7 best starting pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
The when healthy part is a big one, though, because it's been every year.
And that's the thing that gives me the biggest hang up here. Because, like, look, if I'm trading for 4 years of a guy of this caliber, I probably would take a package like this, like just something absolutely ridiculous to get him.
Literally the Godfather offer.
Yeah.
And this is it.
But because of the health, I do hesitate. I don't know. This is a fun deal. I would give this a 60.
This is too much for me, I think, for just about any player. Now, obviously, like Ohtani, like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's tempting, because I really like Hunter Greene, and he's really good, and he's trending in the right direction. But the health is the big one here. He can't help from the IL. So to me, Miller, Brash, Sloan, Cole Young, Johnny Farmello, like, that is an insane amount of talent to give up for Hunter. I don't think Hunter Greene costs this much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if he does, the Mariners are one of the only teams that could put forth a trade offer like this. I just don't think I would want them to do it. So, like, I'll trade like Bryce Miller and Johnny Farmello and Felon Selston. Sure, like, you want to do that? Yeah, fine. But, like, Brash and Sloan and Farmello and Young, and it's just like, I got to go replace Brash. I got to find out what to do at second base. Like, good job on the trades this week, guys. So I'm going to go 50. Like, it's creative. It's certainly a conversation starter. I think it's a little unrealistic. But also, how nuts are the Reds for even considering trading Hunter Greene, which they are. Yeah. Reportedly they are. So,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, I can't even say like, oh, they wouldn't get this from, they might, I don't know. I really don't know. So it's really, I think to me, I just be like, let's go check on Joe Ryan. Let's go check on Freddy Peralta real fast here. Before I would commit this much to one guy who's never gone more than 150 and a third innings pitched in a year. That third is important.
All right. That is going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby, Patnode, I'm Tarik Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Tarik Gonzalez. Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG. Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.